I don't get autocorrected on that one too much. Just double D's in that, Adams. By the way, we're rolling.
Dude, the way you petered out at the end of that sentence, you're like, "Oh, get all crack on double D."
Because I was just like, wait, I'm about to like make a joke about spelling. Like, you don't have confidence in this. This is not.
Yeah, maybe I don't. Maybe I don't.
Oh yeah, pal, I spell that word always correctly.
Maybe I don't
and I'm like,
cocky. That is a bit of yours where you'll say a word and you're like, I said that beginning to end, and it was a pretty easy word.
When I don't mess up reading in front of you, like I'm just one of those things. But all of a sudden, like every time I mess it up, you're like, Jesus, Pat. It's like, well,
no,
don't be surprised.
I don't get that hard on you. And for a while, I didn't.
Pardon me, sir. You get hard on me plenty of times.
That is true.
Welcome
that is true.
to
Every chance I get. Welcome
this
to.
One.
You have about 15 seconds to get somewhere safe. After that, I am not responsible for the things that happen to you.
A brand new episode of Drag the Lake. We actually have business to. We have a correction that needs to be thrown out there because there was. And we appreciate all the listeners and all the comments. If you got any feedback, message us right away. Please. We love finding out about what you guys like and what you want to hear us talk about. But there was...
A DM is welcome because sometimes if you do it out in public, we don't love the shame.
I love a good DM in public. Wait, what were you saying?
I'm saying you don't necessarily have to comment. You could DM us so that way we don't have to do this in public. But onto the apology. I apologize.
Sorry, Pat might have to carry the podcast. I was at a business meeting and I ate a big po' boy.
Ooh, can I do it again?
I ate a really big po' boy.
Should have had yourself a rich boy. I did that earlier. He liked it a lot earlier.
Like and subscribe. I didn't. I said, Pat, this is literally the last straw. No, so we were getting some fake news thrown upon us because apparently now, I wish I didn't open the beverage, but as you guys know, very popular, very hilarious joke on Drag the Lake. Whenever, what? You got a beverage down there?
I got one right here.
Whenever a beverage is popped, someone in the vicinity, the other person not popping the beverage, always says... Baby. And there's been a bit of fake news thrown out there saying we say, maybe? Brother, I don't have 73 every time I die shirts for nothing. I have 8,400 every time I die shirts because I know what Mr. Bath Lovin' Keith says at the beginning of The New Black, fifth song on Gutter Phenomenon. Baby. And, the brain you're using over there makes me think you're a bit of a baby.
Hey,
with your...
Maybe you should clean out your ears, buddy.
Yeah, maybe you should get off the dick and... listen to the podcast. And
wait, are you looking up the lyrics?
It's the it's the sixth song on Gutter Phenomenon. I was I was swinging for the fences on that one. Yeah. I was like, dude, if I get the right track number 2, I am really gonna look cool as hell.
He did not rehearse that part. Obviously, that's why he bailed out.
All right, obviously, I take that back. I apologize. I just committed fake news on everyone. It is the 6th song of Gutter Phenomenon. But when the drink gets popped. Babies get thrown out in the room. Oh, God. I'm up against the wall.
Wait, welcome to...
Baby.
There we... Yeah, 2 of them.
That was on the episode. Like the most recent episode of the podcast. Do you think we get that wrong? Maybe you should... I'm not going to say it. You knew what I was going to say. Hey.
Maybe you should take a break.
No, but thank you for listening.
Your mother. Yeah, but thank you so much for listening.
Thank you for the feedback. I want to take this point to apologize to absolutely nobody. Because
the double champ beats whatever old guy he wants.
I'll slap whoever's cell phone out of their hand.
I'll essay whatever woman I goddamn want to.
Oh, you said essay. Oh, I could have said essay. Essay yourself.
What'd you say?
Or no, what's the other one?
Rape.
You yourself.
What?
Right, I doubled that one. Because you said usually when they say unalive, that means you can't say.
Oh, I'm talking about sexual assault.
And I said un-A.
Oh.
You should un-A yourself.
Unassault. Oh, yes.
The other one.
Anyway, guys, we're having fun
Unnecessary censorship. This ain't Kimmel. Let's go on to the topic.
This ain't Kimmel. We don't believe in the vaccine.
All right. Don't Fauci my Kimmel.
Yeah. We will cry every beginning of the show.
Brother, that guy cries a lot.
He loves to cry. Dude, I swear to God, it's
I don't
like
mind crying. Men can cry. Hey, I'm right here saying not just drag queens either.
I've cried my way into some pussy.
Man. What?
Yeah, I said, please, please give me. No, dude, you've never like had a man passionate cry.
Yeah.
And just like, I'm sorry.
I've had
I'm
plenty
sorry
female passionate
I'm
cries.
sorry I don't talk enough about stuff like this. It's just, you mean so much to me. I just want to be so good for you. I just want to build this life with you, baby. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't normally cry like this. And she's like, oh my God, he's only sensitive like this to me or the 90 hours of podcasting he does every week, but mainly just me.
He's very vulnerable with me and also all of the people that watch his stream.
But also the second a microphone goes in front of his face, he'll tell every deep, dark secret.
Including this story.
And then you'll be like, that's kind of beautiful.
It is. It's a beautiful story.
I'm going to blow him, but not for a while, and then we'll have sex.
I just feel like there's plenty of crying that happens on Kimmel, but it's also he'll go like be really snarky and like make fun of somebody because they said a word wrong, and it's like, bro, like I don't know, man, like everybody's hey, you know what I say? Like the great philosopher Nostradamus, Pobody's nerfed.
Exactly.
That guy said that millions of years ago before they even had T-shirts. And that's like the number one selling T-shirt in the world. Don't look it up.
Kimmel would do this bit too. Where he'd be like...
Second one, under Far Wild. Sorry. I apologize.
Kimmel would do this bit too that would irk the shit out of me. He'd go to like festivals and he would be like, so we went to a festival and we said...
we just lied to a bunch of people.
We just made up fake band names and then people would answer confidently. And like you'd watch it and it would be like a really bad voiceover. They'd be like, hey, where's a ping pong wizard brigade? And they'd be like, oh, that's over on that stage. They're like, can you believe they answered the question?
Yeah, it's like...
And it's like, no, you clearly edited it.
Very produced here.
Yeah,
sir.
You're just lying on these children's names. Yeah, they might be high on ecstasy, but they answered your question accurately that you actually asked them. Kimmel.
And guess what? Kimmel knows, I'd say arguably less every time I dial lyrics than us. So if you're here for Kimmel or incorrect every time I dial lyrics, I'm sorry, we can't help you here.
Also, stop doing blackface.
Wait, what?
What the hell, Kimmel?
Oh, I was like, wait, you saw those?
No, Pat. Every day.
Those are not on. That's
every
not
day
online.
I come in.
That's not online.
Every day I come in, you're like, don't I look like Shaq? I go, yes, Pat, you look like Shaq, but you have to take it off.
I was just like, yeah, but we're gonna do this one time, right? We're gonna film a sketch.
You're like, come on, Andy, I got this great NBA Live. I'm
running out of paint, buddy.
What's the show called with Shaq and
NBA Live?
No.
Yeah,
that's a game.
NBA Jams.
Nope, that is also a game. NBA 2K 2025.
Jock Jams.
Jock Jams. Okay, but anyway, so last week,
he's perking up.
I'm broken up. No, I am.
You're perking up.
Well, I am perked up.
You need an energy beer?
I might need an energy beer. Do you have any?
I literally have one beer, and so we need to time it perfectly.
Okay. Well,
when do you think it'll be the best?
Right before I have to leave.
That's what we call a roadie.
That's what we call roadie.
That's a
road soda. Road soda. Here's the thing: it's not as bad if you make it a fun name. Mm-hmm. Road soda. No. So last week we were talking about these emo bitches, and really tore down my whole essence. So I've just been in shambles all week.
Nice.
So this week we're building ourselves back up with vulgar display of power.
Nailed
we
it.
learned the name. Oh, by the way,
I thought that's what you were apologizing for.
By the way, I do want to thank there's a lot of bros who listen to the end.
Yeah.
Like every episode, we get comments being like, "Oh boy, you're talking about this next week."
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for sticking around for all of the content, because every take, I got to tell you, I was genuinely proud of the Michael Jackson episode, just of how thorough it was, and the fact that we got it in. Still, like, it was a hefty episode, but also we had a lot of pre-talk before that.
Well, lucky for you, I left my notes at home.
Oh no! So you don't even know how you feel about any of this stuff?
No. I don't even know one thing.
God damn it.
Who are we talking about? So we're going to Pantera later today.
Yeah, Pantera bread.
Well, actually, let me start, because I'm about to be really critical of Pantera.
Vulgar
I was talking about
display.
Pantera. You're talking about who set them rings?
Yeah, Septum Ring Chaos AD.
Yes. So no.
Sepultura,
which, spoiler alert, kind of wish I got them this week,
brother. Oh, you listened to them?
I listened to a little bit on the way down here. Well, so I'm realizing this with metal. So when it comes to like, I'm not a metalhead. I'm into heavy music. So that's why I lean more hardcore or like crazy shit like that.
Yeah.
I don't listen to a lot of metal. A lot of metal for me comes off a little bit corny. But what I have been realizing, thank you. What I have been realizing listening to this music this week is the same way.
Sorry, I gave it to you.
The same. No, it's always here.
It's like a yawn.
It's always here, Patrick.
You burp, I got to burp. I mean, that's just the thing.
But the same way, I always talk about this with hardcore. There's hardcore that has like a punk rock lean, and then there's hardcore that has more of a metal lean.
Yeah.
And I realized there's metal music that has more of a hair metal lean, and there's metal music that has more of a hardcore lean. And that was sort of the split, because Pantera, and learning about their history, it made a lot more sense why they sounded like this. Because my big beef with Pantera, it's not necessarily with Pantera directly. It's with people who like Pantera.
Yeah, it's how I feel about how I felt about Juggalos, how I felt about Tool fans. Like a lot of times where I'm like, I connect the band to them, and then I find out how the band feels about their fans, and I'm like, oh, you hate them too? And I'm like, oh man, I actually like you now. Well, like I really respect the ICP now.
Yeah,
but not necessarily all the Juggalos. But I do still have a respect, whoop whoop, for the family and everything.
I mean, I will say I've never met a shitty Juggalo.
They're
retarded,
all trash.
Yeah,
but hearts of gold.
Great people,
salt of the earth.
But like
bath salts of the earth.
That's really funny. Bath salts of the earth. Should have hit them up. That's an album title.
Yeah. That's gonna be the next card in the deck.
The thing about Pantera is, so there's a lot of bands where you'll be like, oh, they fucking rip and they're fucking heavy, but you also kind of keep it in context where it's like, I would be like, I always joked about that with like old Thrice. Yeah. Where like, yeah, they kind of like, for an emo band, they actually shred pretty hard. But if someone just goes like, oh yeah, early Thrice, they get heavy and shred, you'd be like, that's not the whole story.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel with people who always sold Pantera over the years. They would always sell Pantera like, brother, they go fucking hard and they're fucking heavy. Yeah. And after listening to Pantera, I realized, I go, because you stopped at Pantera.
Yeah.
That's why Pantera has been misrepresented the whole time.
Yeah.
Is because they're good, they're heavy. I listen to Cowboys from Hell and Vulgar Display of Power, and they're heavy and they have riffs, but they just go. It's ironic that they tried to stray away from the roots, because they truly go back to their roots the whole time. So for a lot of people who don't know, if you're just casually paying attention to Pantera, you think Vulgar Display of Power is going to be their second album. But it's actually like their fifth or sixth album. So they were, I don't know if you know this, they were originally a glam band.
Right. The brothers are huge fans of Van Halen. They love Van Halen.
Yeah.
So I was going to say, there's kind of a fine line, especially in the 80s, because we discovered that with like Rain and Blood, early Metallica and stuff like that. There's a real fine line sometimes between a thrash band and a glam band.
Yeah.
And it's like the glam band can like dip their toe in thrash, but if the thrash band's not really going to dip their toe in glam.
No, because you
know
can't.
What I'm saying?
Because here's the thing about like dipping if you're a glam band, you can almost like, it's like putting on armor.
It's so funny that they were always called dangerous, and you're like, this guy's talking about. I think we talked about that on the Slayer episode where we're like, this guy's literally it was Guns N' Roses are like, these guys are dangerous. Watch out, these are rebels. It's stand back.
Yeah.
Whoa,
get ready.
But they're still trying to market them. Whereas like Slayer's like talking about like actual genocides.
He's like, I'm giving you details of the fucking Holocaust
of a Nazi.
ventriloquist. Yeah.
A ventriloquist.
That's so funny.
Well, essentially a puppeteer, a mastermind. No.
What's the guy's name again? Kevorkian.
That
dude calling him the Angel of Death.
Angel of Death. Yeah.
Calling him a puppeteer. He's Pinocchio's fucking.
Well, he did hang bodies outside of the factory.
Oh my god, dude. Free Palestine.
That joke is for like 17 people. And you know what? I fucking love you guys. If you 17 people could just share this episode, don't necessarily be specific
Oh my
about
god, dude! I gotta be honest. That joke woke me up. Helped me digest that po' boy. We're here. Podcast. All right, just start over. Podcast began.
All right.
Yeah.
So,
No. Well, the thing is, a lot of bands, and the reason I was able to notice it is because I'm a big. Yeah, you said it, Pat.
I'm
now
sorry.
let's just keep it moving.
Sorry.
It's so funny. No, I'm the same way where you're like, I'm married to the joke, and then sometimes you realize you're like, I need a divorce.
Well, there's like sometimes, yeah, I'm like, she can't be seen with me. It's like, I do a podcast with her too. Can I go off mic on this one?
You're like, I go to the mall with my dick out. You're like, this is what you just did, by the way. You pulled your dick out at the
I
mall.
just pulled my dick out at the mall.
In
Sorry,
joke
guys.
form.
Sorry, kids.
But
go back to playing now.
The reason I noticed this, it all clicked. I was getting an inkling of it because remember you and me were talking about it earlier in the week, and I go, yeah, Pantera's good, but they have this like shimmer to them, and I was like, that's like annoying and shit like that. And I didn't fully put it together till I realized they started out as a glam band, and I go, oh yeah, they're because I notice this all the time in metalcore music. There's a lot of bands that are like metalcore through and through, and then there's other bands that are pop rock bands that figured out how to down tune their guitar, and they like throw in chugs. It's like Beartooth. Now, I will say Beartooth started out amazing, but they're like one of the biggest culprits of it right now, where they'll just write a pop rock song, and then when the song's kind of over, they'll end with like a few chuggas or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Not to be confused with what Bill Murray does. Bill Murray writes pop songs and produces it like a metalcore album, but they don't shoehorn anything in there.
No.
Bill Murray flows, but a lot of bands like Beartooth, it's just because they want to get on the start menu of a Madden game. But they also they're not mainstream, so they still have to appease these like metalcore fans who don't fucking know any better. So they just put that sheen on, and that's kind of based off these two albums. I know a lot of people are going to be mad at me for saying this, but Pantera has the element of like that sheen on top of it because they got riffs. They got fucking moments. They're heavy, but when it all said and done, you just hear that they're a glam band.
Well, I did a little bit. So just a quick little spoiler alert. The episode of No More Heroes this week is going to be about Dimebag Darrell, and I did a little bit of research on some of his history and guitar and stuff like that. And there's plenty of influence, and you see it with like his brother Vinnie Paul all the times, like wears like bandanas, and like he kind of dresses like he's a drummer for one of those bands. And like I think are just huge fans of that genre in general.
Yeah,
that's what they wanted to. I talked about this with Mason recently. How like this Mason from Drooling Banjos. He'll also be on an episode of Hake on the channel here, where we talk about starting bands and like starting out playing an instrument when you're young and everything. But we're talking about how a lot of comics want to be musicians. And a lot of musicians want to be like, they're like, oh, I can't believe you just go up there by yourself and with just jokes, no other thing. And it's like how you just, no matter what you are doing, you actually want to be doing something else. I mean, in a way, like there's still a passion.
No, I hear that.
In a way,
there is a thing where once you sort of figure out the nuts and bolts of it, you know, I think there's always, like, I'm not saying I figured out comedy and I'm the greatest at doing stand-up. It's like I still bomb occasionally or have like a rough set here and there, but like I figured it out to the point where like if I'm at a good show or a comedy club, like I might have a whatever set, but I'm not gonna bomb.
Yeah,
you know, I'm basically at that point. So then then a lot of the like mystery of it goes away. And I'm the biggest I'm the biggest victim of that. I want to learn how to do fucking everything.
Yeah.
So like to the point where I'm like, we joked about it before with like the dishwasher shit, but I literally like sit back and just like fantasize about getting a job at a cheesesteak place.
Yeah.
Like I just want to work a flat top for a whole shift and stuff like that. Like I think about it all the time when I'm listening to, I used to do it all the time listening to Knock Loose for some reason. I would just always imagine myself on stage doing those songs.
Yeah.
It's like everyone, once you get to a certain point on one thing and the sort of the like the ooh shiny and special, those moments start becoming smaller and smaller. You know what I mean? Like when you first start out doing comedy, it's like, oh, can I get up on stage and not embarrass myself? That takes a couple months.
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, I have a good 5 minutes. And then someone asks you to do 20 minutes, and you're like, fuck, can I do 20 minutes?
Yeah.
And then it's like booked at a comedy club, get on, you finally get asked to do a podcast you were a fan of or something, or that's a big pod. You know what I mean? Those come quicker in the first like 10 years. And then when the first 10 years are up, it takes longer for those to pop up.
Yeah. So they, I think they started in like 1980 something, right?
Yeah, they started in the early. Oh, so I forget. Did I joke on here that I forgot my notes? I do remember a lot of the shit. Yeah, so they started in the early 80s and they were cranking out albums. And eventually they were just like, yeah, this glam shit is not working for us. We actually want to fucking. You know, I think their lead singer knew. He's like, I eventually want to do heroin. So
was it Phil Ensemble? It was like it was regular Pantera, right? As the glam band?
Yeah. Wait, sorry, say that again?
As the glam band? Like they were the same lineup and everything?
They weren't the exact same lineup, but I do think they were all in the band. It was at a certain point when they were still a glam band.
The Abbott brothers.
Yeah. And then which actually cool. Giving props to Dimebag Darrell. He at one point was I read this when I was doing my research. He at one point was actually supposed to be in Megadeth, and then he was like, "You guys also have to bring my brother along."
Yeah.
And then we're like, "Well, we already have a drummer," and he's like, "Well, I'm not joining Megadeth then."
Yeah.
And then that's when he started doing Pantera.
Yeah, it's not like a they kind of remind me of like the Dudley Boys of music.
They're like, we're always together.
Yeah, they're like brother. Like no matter what, that we're a team. Like
we're
not going to do solo shit. It's just us.
Well, that was the vibe I got. And
even their side projects and shit they did it was those two guys and then a bassist and a singer or something like that.
Yeah. So they were in the band for a while. There wasn't anything like in the production process. There wasn't anything wild or crazy, but some notable things. The sound on Vulgar Display of Power was a direct result of them hearing the Black Album. So the Black Album by Metallica comes out. It's a noticeable shift. I'm not super familiar with Metallica's music beyond like their hits.
Yeah.
But I know enough to know like the whole thing with the Black Album was
Pantera was like, we need a gray and white album.
Yeah, right. And then musically speaking, I think the album was kind of divisive for fans because I think it sort of was a shift in their sound, probably going a little bit more mainstream, maybe straying away. It wasn't as heavy. I think that's the album like One is on. Am I right? No,
I don't think so.
No, I might be wrong.
No, Black Album has what the fuck is it called? Enter Sandman.
Yeah, I think a lot of the songs on the Black Album were not as heavy. They maybe dipped their toe in a little bit more ballads and stuff. And a lot of fans were really divisive about it. And one of those fans was Dimebag Darrell.
Yeah.
And he was like, and he said after that, he's like, I love the album. I just, at the time, I was one of those kids who were like, Metallica's not heavy anymore.
Yeah.
And so... And I will give, as much as I'm shitting on Pantera, I will give them props. The shift from Cowboys to Hell to Vulgar Display of Power is noticeably more heavier and like riff-centric. Like Cowboys from Hell, that song is good, but the rest of the album is so clear that these guys use. It's literally like I'm probably gonna get fucking hunted for this, but like it's at times, dude, I swear to God, it sounds like fucking Bon Jovi borrowed some heavy riffs. It really fucking does.
That said, I played you the opening to Cemetery Gates, where I'm like, it's like a minute and a half or like 2 minutes in, or some crazy amount of time of them just going like boom, 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 and it's just like, yeah, to the fuck, dude. Because once they get to the riff, you're like, whoa, you know what I mean? Like, and then they play that for a little bit, and then it just sounds like this kind of like. The vocals on it, when they do the high-pitched vocals, like I was saying, I warned you about Angel of Death, actually. Again, speaking of Slayer, I warned you about there's like a high-pitched squeal. There's a couple times where he goes high where it's like, guys, you don't have to do that. Please don't do that. And then, like, I think the same thing. Just because Phil Ensemble can actually do it, your eyes all fucked up.
I've been rubbing the shit out of it.
Did you get poop in there?
You don't remember me eating your butt?
Oh, no. I was passed out. This guy drugged me so big.
Oh, that's right. I drugged you.
But there's a basically like a weird.
I'm also like, crying because I can't eat your butt anymore.
He's so good at the high pitched thing that it's like, obviously that's why I was asking if he was in the hair metal side of it, because like he has that
yeah,
like that, like high pitched like fuck, and you're like, dude. Come on.
Well, that was another part.
But they like that.
That was another part that was getting to me, the vocals.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, dude. I listen to the Blood Brothers. I listen to like some crazy shit. So I don't really have a leg.
It's subjective.
I don't really have a leg to stand on like what's annoying and not annoying vocals. But I you know what it is for me? It's the fucking, it's like the rock and roll fucking that like energy that Guns N' Roses had, where they're like, yeah, dude, we go and we trash a hotel and we fucking drink way too much of the shittiest whiskey and all
Cowboys
this
from hell.
Yeah, and then it's like,
and you're like, that's cool.
Yeah, and then it's like, cool? You take the actual heavy bands like Slayer, and they're like, yeah, we usually like go in the bus after the show and read books about World War II.
Yeah, we're not
like, that's what the actual heavy band does.
Yeah, we don't do Cowboys so much, but we do the hell.
Yeah.
Cowboys are cool, I guess, but we just talk about hell. We just go straight to hell.
So the singing really got me. It got irritating from time. Don't get me wrong. Like I'll keep saying, like, you know what? I'm defensive because I feel like
you're going back and forth. That's why it's hard to get you wrong, because you're like, it's good, but it's just not for me.
Yeah, you know what it is. I'm getting precautious because I feel like everyone's gonna fucking yell at me
because of the support we had in the comments of people listening to the end.
Oh boy, I can't wait to hear what he says about Pantera. I go, you can wait. You're definitely gonna want to wait.
I like Pantera. I mean, I'm just saying.
No, my thing is not necessarily.
I don't love them though.
It's not even like, I'm not like mad at Pantera. I'm like mad at everyone else for like lying to me.
Well, I guess that's the thing is I recently kind of went in and was like, I'm gonna like try to revisit this, because for some reason I don't know what it was exactly, but I was like, I want to listen to that, like go back and figure out some other things that we can listen to, and like heavier shit, like popular shit that maybe either one of us may not be as familiar with.
Yeah.
And then like I listened to it and I'm like, yeah, it's pretty good. And like the hits are awesome. But like some of the deeper tracks, not necessarily. I do love Fucking Hostile. I think that's a great song. And I was telling you the issue that I have with them sometimes, and this kind of speaks to that glam rock shit too, is the reverb on the snare drum and like and it's not so much on Vulgar Display of Power, but it's maybe on Cowboys from Hell, or any of their other releases. But like there was something that I was listening to, like a mix of theirs on Spotify, and one of the songs that came up, and I was just like,
the mix is bad.
Yeah,
on both of those albums, from song to song, the mix is like noticeably inconsistent.
Yeah. So I just think that with this one, I like Walk, I like Fucking Hostile, I like, what was the other? There's like hits on this album.
Yeah, no, it does. It has its moments. Like, it starts pretty strong with Mouth for War, and like the first, A New Level's good, Walk, Fucking Hostile, This Love. Like, it starts out strong. But then again, you know what my problem is? I'm just too locked in on hardcore music. Yeah. It's like, I'm at the point where I go, dude, I remember being like, if you don't give me 40 minutes, you don't deserve. It's not a full album. Now when I see 20, I go, praise Jesus. You know what I mean? Like I rejoice at a 20-minute album.
Yeah,
I think it's a good limit. There were some interesting little tidbits on this. Like I said before, I did find it interesting that they heard the Black Album and they were like, this fucking sucks. And they're like, the heavy riffs, they made the riffs noticeably heavier because of that album. They didn't have a lot of songs. They had like 3 songs demoed and like wrote basically the majority of the album. Like, I forget if it was like in the studio or like right up before, like right when they were around recording it. Yeah. They wrote a lot of the album pretty quickly. In the middle of recording the album, they did. So do you remember seeing speaking of Metallica, do you remember seeing those, them doing those giant concerts in like Moscow?
Yeah.
Where like 1 million people would literally come to the show. Like literally
sea of people. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember. I don't know if they were there the year it was 1 million, but in '91 they go and it's like 500,000 people because at the time they just opened up. Like the Soviet Union was just allowing foreign bands to come in, and so they play this show with
you
like
go 0 to Metallica. That's crazy.
It's crazy.
That's crazy.
Well, because also,
you're gonna shut that wall back.
You're
gonna be like, this is too much.
Here's the reality. Like, I do think a lot of countries, like I think Japan's pretty hyped on American culture, and there's a lot of Chinese, like a lot of people in China that are like hyped on it. Honestly, a lot of people are hyped on American culture. It's the shit you see on social media where everyone's trying to talk to us like we're fucking dickheads. But I think it's not as many people now. But definitely back in the day, like everyone was hyped on American culture. So like the fact that fucking Metallica, AC/DC, and Pantera are coming to play, you're like, oh, the whole country's gonna come out.
Yeah. Cowboys from hell, blue jeans, baby.
So they go, they play blue jeans. They play Moscow, and then literally 3 months after that, the Soviet Union falls.
Damn.
So
you're welcome,
Pantera. Good job.
Maybe you just need a little bit of metal in your heart. Like bullets. Bam, bam. Not everybody.
Yeah, it was, I know it was their highest selling album. I remember reading that. It was their highest selling album ever. They only did 2 more after that before they broke up. And like it was getting pretty bad with it, like around the 3rd album anyway. And I will give Phil Anselmo a little bit of a pass because on the heroin, I know I was busting his balls, but apparently it was just from having a bad back from his like stage shows. Yeah. And they were like, you could get surgery, and he's like, that'll take me off the road for too long. I'm gonna do heroin.
And it's like, yeah, it is a very noble choice, sir, to choose heroin and rock and roll lifestyle over rehabilitation and surgery. But I don't necessarily see it from your end. I just kind of see it as like, but then so it's just funny that they're
I'm not giving him a pass.
Well, I'm just gonna say, like, it's just funny that they're like Phil, honestly, we don't care about the white power stuff, all the other. They're just like, it's just too much heroin, bud. Oh. When you do this, we see all the track marks, bud.
Dude, I thought the white powers
heroin, and I'm sorry.
Well, no, I think because Phil says
that's for like blues musicians.
Phil says I didn't want to get the surgery, so I took heroin to numb the pain. I bet you he was like,
I think he wants a little.
I kind of want heroin.
He wants a little heroin.
And then he's like, oh, my back hurts.
Brother, if this was only a little bit later.
Excuse to do heroin.
If this was only a little bit later in the 90s, he would have been able to do the surgery and get prescribed heroin.
Oh, shit. Yeah, you're right. He would have been getting
like they're
the
so
fucking
close.
Perks or the oxys. Yeah.
Because I remember they were talking, when in my research, they were apparently talking about, they would have gotten back together. Like they were already mending the fences and shit like that. So like it was still pretty tumultuous at the time. Do you know the fact that Dimebag and what's her face, Vinnie Paul, both of them are passed away, but Pantera is touring right now.
Yeah.
And it's just Phil with Zakk Wylde and some other fucking guys, and it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that one's weird because it's like,
how do you do that?
Well, it like. It's one thing if, like Real Big Fish. That's
I didn't think of it from this way. No, I'm just giving you the floor. I want to say nobly, I hadn't thought of it from this
I don't
angle.
just talk to hear my own voice.
Ain't just a hat rack,
Maybe
ladies.
sometimes.
This ain't just a hat rack, okay?
It's just a hat rack. Next week, T.I.
Oh, shit. We have to figure out what we're doing next month. Is this the last one for both?
Yeah.
We're not doing... What do you want to do after we do albums on Drag the Lake?
Wait, why don't we figure that out later?
This is album month.
We'll figure it out. This is album month on Drag the Lake. It's album podcast. So funny. Wait, what were we... God damn it. What were we just talking about?
We're talking about not just a hat rack.
Not just a hat rack. What were you saying right before that?
What do you mean? Me?
Yeah, why did I have an idea?
Wait, hold on. You can't put that on me. Okay,
know.
I'll try. Hold on. Let me get there.
I forgot on a
Vulgar
podcast
display,
you're on.
hold on. Heroin.
Heroin?
Uh,
current Pantera.
Thank you.
Well, yeah, it's one thing with
You're
like
welcome.
Real Big Fish. You'll be like, lead singer's the only original member, and you're like, Menendez twin. Lead singer's the only original member, and you're like, yeah, lead singer wrote all the songs, so he gets to.
But not the...
No, Real Big Fish.
Oh, oh, sorry.
No, the.
When did Real Big Fish join Pantera?
Well, you get Hungry on tour.
Okay.
And no, so it's like
salad, breadsticks, and
like,
Scott.
and the lemonade that kills you.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one. Oh, sorry, Real Big Fish. So yeah, but he didn't write obviously.
That story
all
was
of
so
the music.
funny how it got out of control. They're like, the lemonade kills you. It's like, yes, if you're mentally disabled and drink 4 cups of it. Anyway,
But if you have the original member or something like that, but I'm just saying like this is
yeah, no, that's why I'm saying with Pantera.
But they
I'm now calling it literally Pantera. With Pantera, it's just like, come on, man. It's like the band's Dimebag.
But yeah, and that's what I was gonna say. It's like at least it's the Dimebag Vinnie Paul
Experience.
duo. Like that's do you know what I'm saying? Like it really is.
Yeah,
It's those guys and whoever else, because really anybody could do those songs like lyrics wise.
but then you got to think with Phil Anselmo, where he's like, I just have to make long, awkward racial speeches,
Right.
And he's like, no one's letting me do shows.
Yeah, we don't know
And
anybody
he's like,
that can fill the gaps while we're tuning.
Dude, the funny part too is like when you hear him going, you're like, I've listened to audio of him doing it, and it's one of those speeches where you always go, you feel like if it was one-on-one, he'd be like, all right, no, hold up, no, just hear me out.
Yeah.
Just hear me out.
I'm not racist. It's just, like it's one of those things where like or the thing that's said in so much confidence, thinking that you're gonna back him, and you're like,
It's one of those things where you're like, I've listened to it, and I go, your logic is technically structurally sound, Phil, but you're clearly fighting with a guy in your head.
you're speaking about a reality, but it's not everybody's reality. You
Yeah,
have to
it's like
understand
that's what happens a lot of times when dudes have those like
I don't
racial.
know. Actually, I don't even know what he said, so I don't even know if I feel comfortable.
No, that's fine. No, it's one of those things where you're like, okay, like you kind of have a vague point, but you're clearly arguing with a guy in your head. That's what most people do when they have these like, be like, oh, so it's okay. Oh, so a black guy comes in and shoots 10 people in the head and everyone goes, that's completely fine. You're like, what are you talking about?
What? And like
obviously there's bias like in this and that and yada, 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 depending on the situation. But you're talking about a thing made up in your head, Phil.
And you're starting from that point. You're not even you're not even starting with a little bit of context.
Yeah.
You're just starting. It's like you're literally having an argument in your head and you just brought me into it.
Well,
and you have a microphone and a group full and a bunch of people that are going to be like, woo, you know what I mean? Like,
because dude, I could right now go on Twitter and just randomly choose a racial group and I could find the right hashtags to make me furious at them. But you know what happens when I leave the house? Fucking nothing, dude.
Yeah.
It's like you got to put the phone down.
Yeah.
And look, it's like, you know what I mean? You can get curated the right amount of videos to turn you into a bigot.
But
But you just put the phone down and leave the fucking house.
It's just funny to me that that's like that's a thing that and obviously that has nothing to necessarily do with just this album, but it's funny that like that's an option, because I don't know if they ever got back together. At least Vinny,
Or like they were gonna before Dimebag got shot.
Like there was a thing that in my research I found that like there was like a point where Dimebag. I think it was somebody that had commented and said like, if he had, I think it was Vinny that said like, if that hadn't happened, like that we would have gotten back together.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't unmendable.
Yeah.
It was all like it's just a matter of this and like just a couple differences of agreement.
I'd also roll the dice on the fact that like the other dudes in Pantera didn't care. They were just like, dude, just stop making speeches at concerts.
Yeah.
But no, apparently he was also getting into that in the fucking 90s.
Yeah.
Around the time there was a thing where he literally was like, they were like, yeah, why'd you say all that? He was like, sorry, man, I got just drinking a lot. I do awkward racial rants when I get drunk. You're like, cool, dude.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, man.
Wish you had said that when you joined the band.
Oh, dude, they had another story that it was in the same vein as Guns N' Roses. When you're like a little kid, you read this, or like the general rock star demeanor that was established in like the 80s or 90s. You're like, this is so cool, and you're like, no, you guys are just shitheads. They were like, all right, we would do this thing. I forget what it was called. It was called like a chicken chuck or something like that. And they'd be like, so we'd get chicken wings and we'd throw them at stop signs. And you're like, that doesn't get a name. You're just throwing things.
That's fine.
You're throwing things around.
That's heartless, literally.
That's harm. Oh, the other thing they would do is they were recording. Actually, sorry,
waste of chicken.
Sorry, there's one tidbit that makes them annoying, and there's one tidbit that makes them sound like raccoons. Do you want to hear? Which one do you want?
We'll go annoying and then raccoons.
Okay, annoying then raccoons. The annoying one is they literally they took the guy producing their album. They just like stole his car and like drove it around and like fucked it up.
On heroin?
I don't think they were doing heroin yet. But yeah, they just like fucked his car up. Yeah. And he was just like, what are you guys doing? And they're like, we'll get you. Don't worry. And it's like, he's like, they're like, this album's going to sell 1 million copies. We'll get you back.
Because it's like, well, Cowboys from Hell was that one or this one?
This one, wait. This
producer
one.
Of this album?
Cowboys from Hell.
It was a hit.
So this goes into the raccoon story.
Yeah.
Cowboys from Hell did really good. They were just like, I think with the fact that they weren't big beforehand, so they probably didn't have good deals, they didn't make any fucking money off of it. So they were like living off like people's couches and people's generosity. And there was apparently this one dude who worked in like a deli or something who would just leave beer and sandwiches outside for him.
Nice.
So they would just leave food out like they were like wild animals.
And a little bowl of water for them to wash it in.
Yeah, so like yeah, so like Pantera would just like walk by and scurry up and get their beer and run away. Shit, like little raccoons. So they'd be like little raccoons.
That's
getting
awesome.
Their shit. But yeah, man. My last thing too that kind of like got me annoyed with this album is it made me realize. So I didn't realize this, but the drummer from Pantera, Vinnie Paul, he was instrumental in one of the worst bands to ever exist.
Oh, yeah.
And that was called Hell Yeah.
Yeah. But he was the one that did that?
Yeah,
it was his fault for starting it?
I looked
Remind me of the members. Do you remember the members?
I don't remember the members.
I'll look them
But
up.
can I tell you my favorite song title of theirs?
Yeah.
I just Googled them to remind myself of how Hell Yeah sounded. And the first song that pops up on YouTube is called Alcohol and Ass. And I go, what the fuck does that even mean?
Oh, alcohol and ass. So wait, it's isn't it Eddie or not Eddie Van Halen? Damn, who is it? Yeah, it's Van Hagar, right?
Yeah, and then
let me go to all. Hell yeah.
Who's that? Chad Gray, Vinnie Paul, Tom Maxwell, Greg Tribbett, Kyle Sanders. Oh, these must be like multiple different eras of them.
So this is not so okay. So what happened to the band Hell Yeah? It's all one word. And as of 2021, the band is on hiatus. Well, 2021. Hold on. Didn't Vinnie Paul die in like 2016 or something?
I think he died way before that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. So he started this band and then died, and then it just continued to roam the earth.
Yeah, but just with the band Hell Yeah, it made me realize. It connected the dots based off of that and like the sound of Pantera. I was like, Pantera is the reason. The same way Hatebreed's the reason a bunch of hardcore bands sound the way they do. Pantera is the reason that a bunch of like cheese dick, fucking butt rock, fucking Velvet Revolver bands exist.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, you guys, you may have wrote some good songs, but you were the fucking ground zero of a lot of horse shit getting created.
Yeah.
So that's my last gripe with Pantera, but
Well,
had some riffs. Ultimately, regret it.
yeah. Well, I was pleasantly surprised by mine. First of all, so the reason we chose Sepultura, Chaos AD was because it was around the same time as Vulgar Display of Power, but it was also because I always, my entire life, confused Sepultura and Pantera.
So,
I thought
you
they
know
were
the reason for that? Because I was listening to them and I go,
just names, just the names, and I also, for some reason, thought that there was I thought Sepultura was another one of the super, because I knew that those guys had been in a bunch of other.
oh yeah, it's like the top four where it was like Slayer, Metallica, Megadeth, Pantera.
That's what I thought. Like,
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Like it was a super group, but I don't believe that's the case at all.
Oh, okay.
So it's because Vinnie Paul and Dimebag were not in Sepultura.
They were not.
No.
Because they were in Pantera.
Pantera, right? So, but I was also pleasantly surprised that I might actually be a Sepultura fan now.
Well, I was surprised too because I also might be a Sepultura fan.
It actually Sepultura translates to burial or tomb in Spanish and Portuguese. They're a Portuguese band, or at least they're fronted by Max Cavalera, who is a Brazilian musician and co-founder of the heavy metal band Sepultura. In 1984, with his brother Igor, another brother. Maybe that was the connection. Maybe it was because it was a lead singer, drummer, it was two guys that were brothers.
Yeah,
Max Cavalera
that
and
makes
Igor
sense.
Cavalera.
Yeah, that makes sense. The sort of mismatch.
And the Abbott
Can I
brothers.
interject with a interesting band title fact with Pantera
Please, go
that you
ahead.
made me just think of? So Pantera named their band after a cool car. And it was years until they were like, or not years, but it was a while after that when they were about to make a logo and they were like, hold up, this means panther in Spanish.
Yeah.
And I go, dude, that's awesome. Because I was listening to a podcast recently where they were talking about shitty band names and like someone was making fun of Pantera because they were like, just calling your band the Spanish version of Panther is so stupid, and finding out they didn't know it was that for a while
Makes it even stupider.
They're like, we just named it after a really cool car.
Yeah. That's so funny. So it was. So he's actually the Max Cavalera. It says he co-founded the band. I don't actually know if he's. It doesn't actually. I want to see what he plays, but he's a instrument. So looks like guitar. So yeah, essentially it's the same idea. What instruments does he play? Vocals and guitar. So that's what it is. So essentially it's kind of the same idea. Maybe that's it was like a weird. That was like the For You or people also like kind of of growing up of like
You may be also a band of this heavy brother band.
These also have brothers in them. What do you know it? And they also have a translatable name. Well, you know that too.
Will you look at that?
These guys did
That's
know the
you
translation.
listening to Sepultura the whole time. Would you look at that?
All these parallels. It's basically Lincoln and Kennedy. Max Cavalera's secretary was named.
I've seen that video. It's that video is so funny when they do the Lincoln and Kennedy comparisons, and you're like, that's all insane. What does any of it mean? They're like, nothing.
Well, it's funny too that like it's all coincidences. But that's a weird thing with I knew that it meant the Panther only because the UFC fighter Yair Rodriguez is El Pantera, the Panther.
That rips.
Yeah. So I was like, "Oh shit, he likes Pantera." I literally had their same reaction of like, "Oh shit, this fucking Mexican dude loves Pantera too. Hell yeah!" And then he's just like, "No, it means the Panther.
The Panther.
It means the Panther."
The Panther.
But this particular album, Chaos AD, is the 5th studio album by the Brazilian heavy metal band Sepultura. It was released in 1993 by Roadrunner Records. after
Roadrunner. I think they hit a good amount of bands I like.
Beep beep.
That too.
They got a pretty good record against the Coyote. I'll tell you that much. Thank you. Guys, please sit down. Everybody, sit down. We got to finish the podcast.
I can't get head from everyone.
After the success of Arise, the band decided to expand the experimentation of that album and depart from further from their earlier thrash metal sound, which, by the way, they do revisit a bit in this album. But their album incorporates multiple genres as groove metal and hardcore punk. And features the band's...
Something about the term groove metal bothers me.
It also features the band's first fully acoustic song, which, spoiler alert, was Pat's least favorite on the album.
Yeah.
Thanks for the experimentation, but put it back in the closet, friends.
Yeah. Well, and that's the sign, by the way, of a really good metal band.
Yeah.
Is like, if you try to do this with acoustic guitars, it's going to sound stupid. That's like, that was kind of a difference I was going to point out between like a Pantera type band versus like Slayer when it comes to heaviness.
Yeah.
It's like you could bullshit your way through any Pantera song on a fucking acoustic guitar. Any Slayer song, it's like you have to just be genuinely good at guitar because it's going to be so fucking hard. And I think Sepultura is a similar way where you're like, this would sound like a whole new band if you tried to do this acoustic.
Just knowing that, like, I really did try to just focus on this album. So I'll spoiler alert again. Well, this is just my review. This is not even a spoiler, guys. This is it.
Bruce Willis is dead the whole time.
I thought I thought you were breaking that news. He just died or something.
It's
close. It's gonna happen.
Well, he's basically been dead for like a year.
Yeah, inside. Here.
No, he's. You know, his brain doesn't work.
Yeah, that's what I said. Here, he's dead inside here.
I thought you were like in here because Demi Moore won't suck his dick anymore.
No, she will. This is why she's doing it now, because she knows he won't remember. She's like,
better.
Son of a bitch.
She's carting him around in fucking Instagram videos, being like, "Look, he's not dead
it's his
yet.
Birthday again. They're celebrating." He's just going,
huh?
So there's a. I actually tried to really focus on this, but I'm excited to visit some of their earlier stuff, knowing now that they have such thrash roots. You know what I'm saying?
Wait, how far into their catalog is this?
This is the 5th studio album. I mean, guys, thank you guys for listening, subscribing.
Who are you
I think this guy
talking to?
over here.
What's that?
Andy. That's a camera.
Has that been here the whole time?
Andy's got locked-in syndrome. That's why his eyes are all red.
Sorry. I'm the guy who, like, if people are like, don't scratch that, it's going to make the scar worse. I go, I'm going to scratch it every second it itches. That's why I'm just rubbing
let's just get there now.
Oh, my eyes sweaty? I'm going to rub it in.
So this is just a little insight. The first time I listened to this album, I don't know what it was. You
do know what you thought it was. Pantera.
Is this a panther?
You're like, oh my God, Pantera.
This is what the sounds of a panther sound
like. Pantera. I can't wait to hear your white supremacist views.
It's so funny. That's a Spanish word, and he's like, white people are the best. And he's just like, but it's literally Spanish for panther. Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
But they're
Sepultura would be more on board if they were Mexican, not Brazilian.
The first time
it's a culturally accurate joke. Go on.
The first time I listened to this album, I was like, I kind of hated it.
Really?
I didn't even finish.
What year was it when you hated it?
I'm saying when I started this research. Within a week's time.
What year are we in?
2025.
Okay.
I don't know why I did this. They can they can still see it. They can read my lips now.
Pat.
Huh?
I don't know what's going on.
What's happened? Who said that? I think there's a weird thing with this album that, like, every time I've listened to it since the first listen, I've like loved it more.
That's interesting.
It's crazy that the first time I listened to it, I hated it.
It's not a common listening.
Not hated it, but just was like, it really didn't hit my ear right.
Not a common listening experience.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's so crazy that, like, and since then I'm finding something. So this actually, not only did I love this album, but I also ended up like really formulating exactly how I'm going to go forward with my research for albums.
Really?
It changed the way. It changed the research era for the better.
Brother, sometimes Drag the Lake can change your life.
It's from 1993.
1993? Oh shit, my belly's popping out. I'm fat.
The first 3 songs, by the way, this is how crazy it is. We're talking about the layout of some of these albums. This album, the first 3 songs on the album are all the only singles of the album.
Oh, really?
They go single, single, single. Like bam, 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 right off the gate. They're immediately just hitting you with what they are assuming are the best songs on the album, which I would kind of agree with.
I gotta be honest, it's a smart move. Yeah.
I put slow down, buddies. I put that on my notes.
You ever get that?
That's so stupid.
Yeah, you're retarded.
Slow down, buddies. Whoa. Hold on a second.
Oh my god.
Back to back to back?
Oh my god.
And they even did it, if I remember correctly, they did it like 1, 2, 3. Like they put it out. Refuse Resist is the first song on the album. Territory is the second song, and Slave New World is the third song.
Yeah,
they put it out September 5th, 93, October 5th of 93, and then May 25th of 94. My mom's birthday. Happy birthday, Mom. Slow down, buddies.
Not on my mom's birthday.
What's the next single going to be? Track number 4.
No, Brad, they only had 3.
Yeah.
No, that would always be, sometimes that wouldn't be good for me because I usually liked when they saved the first single for the third song.
Yeah.
Because it would get you excited. You'd be like, ooh, what's this? Ooh, what's this? All right, now I know this one.
I don't mind starting off.
Yeah, and then wait till like the 5th or 6th song to hit you with another single.
Give me a third track even. You can even skip, you know what I mean? Like just give me a breather, guys.
Putting them up front, that's bold. That's confidence, if you ask me.
That's 5th album confidence.
Yeah.
That's thrash roots confidence.
What?
I don't know. I just wanted to say. I just had to get my head back this way. I didn't have anything to
the
say.
album confidence.
For the album, I'm saying all the important parts off mic.
That's Brazilian metal confidence.
So, Refuse Resist is. I swear to God. By the way, this is my note.
What else is your note?
I swear to God, they use this in the UFC promos. Maybe. I wish I could play this for you. I could probably play it for you. Like,
give me a bit.
Like in the room, right?
Yeah.
It's crazy because I'm like. I know this song.
Well, UFC, like, dude, they'll just play like.
I've never heard this album before.
They play like the bridge of a Korn song.
But check this out. I think you'll probably even feel. I know I've heard this in a promo before. Can you hear it?
Yeah, you just play a taste.
Hold on, it's got to get to the. That's UFC shit, right?
Yeah,
bro. That's what I'm like. I think
that's almost definitely the UFC song.
It's not the
or like when they're like, this has been the Modelo special fight of the night. Go get your local Modelo Sepultura.
Right. It's not the Bring the Pain.
No, John. What's his name? John
Leguizamo.
No. Yeah, they play this in the Mario movie. No, fucking
John Anik?
Yeah, it's when John Anik's yelling the fucking who sponsors the event.
Yeah, like when they're like throwing
right
up the sponsors.
Right before they go to a commercial or something.
Yeah.
That shit's bumping.
But like that's how they start the album. So immediately I want a cage fight.
Yeah.
I mean, it's from the jump.
So you heard that. You picked up Stanley, threw him across the room.
Right, Stanley was on the wall. So this is a fun thing. I dug and I tried to find. I go, was this used in the UFC? I could
That's
not.
like your main research.
I found every other fact about it except for that. The Sepultura song "Refuse Resist" has been covered by various artists and has been featured in a few movies. So specifically,
UFC the movie.
Speaking, previously mentioned, Hatebreed covers it and appears on the movie Marvel's Punisher Warzone.
Oh, that's a good one to throw into Punisher.
Additionally, the song has been covered by bands like Propane, Chrisian, and Deep Coma.
Deep Coma.
Cataract.
Okay.
Mass Hysteria.
Okay.
Ass Jack. And Anthrax.
I think, dude.
I'm not done. Okay. Meads of what I can't say it. Meads of Fatasivdo, Meads Asfado, and then also Fleddy Melkelly. It's Melculy.
Mega.
And Max Cavalera himself claims to have been inspired for the song by seeing the phrase "protest and survive" / refuse and resist on a man's leather jacket on the New York City subway.
That rips.
Yeah, so
they seem like one of those bands that, like, if you go to any mainstream metal fan and you're like Sepultura, I don't know if they're gonna be like, oh shit, but they
know the name. I knew the name.
I've known the name. I couldn't tell you a song.
Not even one.
But also too, you and me are like, I'm more saying like whatever the current version of Ozfest is.
Yeah.
If you go and are like, you guys like Sepultura, I think it's going to be like 50-50. You'll get a yes.
50. You're either going to get somebody. The person's going to say yes, and if you 3 songs them, you're probably going to be disappointed.
They're going to shoot you.
And then the other,
they jump and stab your throat.
The other person is going to be like, oh, it's just like Pantera.
They're like, please, please stop talking to me. I'm Kylie Jenner.
Here's a Pepsi.
Here's a Pepsi. I'm going to walk away in my Slayer shirt.
You're going to get not be able to name 3 songs, or you're going to get. I'm going to give you my ranked Sepultura album, and I thought Cavalera really got minuscule after
But the point I'm trying to make is I think they're like, you know how they have the term like your comic's favorite comic. I think they're like your favorite band's favorite band. I think they're one of those bands that like if you go to musicians and you're like Sepultura, they could probably talk you. If you go to metal musicians and bring up Sepultura, they could probably talk your ear off for an hour.
They're so cool. Yeah. These guys, I absolutely.
I was listening to this. This shit got me hyped. Now, I didn't listen to the whole thing. I listened to a little bit of On the Way Down, and then shout out Zach Amico. Just put out the first episode of Zach. Hi, Zach.
We'd love to be on
the first
sometime.
Episode. We love your name 3 Zach songs.
Zach Amico Morning Show, The Midnight Spook Show, and Lewis and Zach.
I'm still gonna shoot you.
Oh, that's the reward.
that's how you win.
Yeah. Oh my God, you can name 3. You're dead.
No one has ever done that. We have to kill you.
You're supposed to immediately forget. Bye, guys. Whoa, goodbye, Pat.
Goodbye, guy. No, I was listening to Zach's Morning Zoo. Shout out Zach.
Yeah.
But yeah, I listened to a little bit of it, and I was like, brother, this could fit in. Like with modern day hardcore, it's fucking crazy. It's so good.
Yeah,
it's like it like I'm not the most well versed in them. Name 3 songs, I'm getting shot. Now, if you name 3, you're also getting shot.
Maybe that's why they put them all at the beginning. They're like, these guys drink a lot. They're gonna have to remember these songs. We're gonna put them at the beginning of the set.
Yeah, I think they seem like a band that has somewhat of a timeless sound. Like they just kind of write their own music.
Yeah. So the second song on the album is probably, I think I didn't see actually the rankings, but I would assume their most well-known song.
Nern.
God damn it! I would have.
Sorry, you did.
I know. I wanted to get mad, but I just did it.
It was pure vengeance, and I don't feel good about it.
That's karma. Yeah. But it's my favorite pirate. There's a level to how popular the song was that you say your favorite band's favorite band. I first heard about this song from a Between the Buried and Me cover album that you're probably familiar with. I don't know. The Anatomy of.
Yeah, I listened to it. Yeah. Really good cover of Bicycle by Queen.
BT Band. That was the biggest one, but then I heard this song, Territory. It's the second song on the album, and it starts out with this incredible like drum fill kind of sound, like this just like all over the toms and shit like that. And it's like and that song or that album in general, they kind of just they do what Weezer did on their cover album, but everybody liked it. Where they go, we're just going to sound like that band kind of and add a little bit. With Bicycle, they added a little bit of the BT Bam flair, but they just try to sound like a clean, nice version of Bicycle. They do a cover of Kickstart Your Heart from Motley Crue. They do this song, Territory by Sepultura.
Yeah.
But also, so like, that's when I think I was probably introduced to the band in general of actually hearing one of their songs and knowing who they are.
Yeah.
2006. So I can actually date it back. I can find out the time I figured out who they were. And it was like, wow, Between the Buried and Me likes Pantera, huh? That's crazy. And then I go...
and then you found out they had a song called Walk, and you're like, I'm good.
I'm like, excuse me. Yeah.
Got a song called Scooter, maybe.
So, yeah, maybe Sit Down and Rest. sit down and rest. Sit down, fatty.
Pantera, why don't you write a song called DoorDash Wingstop?
Dude, brother, I just had Wingstop for like the first time recently.
Brother, it's so good.
How is that
It's
that
good.
How is it that good?
You want to start a food podcast? Dude, we did that.
It's so funny. You started this episode by being like, I'm too fucking full. And we're like, I'm fucking hungry now.
Oh, no, I'm just...
I get it.
No, I'm actually the fat jokes are getting crazy. I need to lose weight. Someone hit me with a good one recently on panties where they were, because I was saying, I was like, oh yeah, if I try to eat healthy, I get sad because I can't eat fun foods, then I get mad.
Yeah.
And then they were like, oh, Andy gets mad when he's eating healthy. He must be so chill all the time. I was like, you son of a bitch. No, I'm just like, it blew my mind. We got Wingstop a couple weeks ago. The UFC just happened last week, right? It was whatever the big event before that one was.
Okay, yeah.
So they had like a crazy deal where you got like 3 different things of wings, some fries.
Yeah, we did the same thing, I think.
Yeah, dude, it was like nothing. And we're eating that. We're like, me and Steph were like, yo, is this just like good?
It's crazy good.
It's just good. It's not like, oh, I go to McDonald's and I can get fucking 20 nuggets for $5 and I feel like dog shit, but I'll go, it's $5. I'm like, no, this is good. These are good wings.
It's just a little bit better than you're paying for it.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, it's like a little heightened. So it's like, it's crazy. So, yeah.
Because you're eating it just like, did I just get my money's worth?
Yeah, exactly.
It's not a thing that happens with corporations right now.
Very rarely have I been pleasantly surprised. But so it's really funny that I can actually date both when I
so you're done talking about wings? Okay.
when I first heard about Max Cavalera as a musician.
I love that name.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Is that in Septum Ring?
That's the brother of Igor Cavalera. Doesn't roll off the tongue as much. But there's a medium Cavalera and then there's maximum Cavalera. I like Max. And he is.
I love when you do a joke of your own you could barely get through.
I love it.
You're like,
I really like myself, guys.
I like talking to Mike and goofing around with my friends.
We're having a fun. I like making jokes for maybe 7 people.
Yeah, but those 7 people are shooting cum out their eyes. They're basically listening to this episode like the people listen to the Joker in the Joker movie, and they're like jumping on cars going like, we will start the revolution for Pat.
I will happily have a fan base that is secure in a mental institution. Yeah, I'll come visit you. There's I figured out who he was through the, I know we've talked about it before, but you're familiar with the project Probot? Yeah. It was Dave Grohl partnering with his favorite metal musicians. He partnered.
Like Led Zeppelin, right?
He did a song with Lemmy. He actually started a band with the drummer from Led Zeppelin.
Yeah, that's right.
Bass player. Sorry.
He did an album with different people on each song, right?
Yeah, Probot. Yeah. He did a song. He actually did a song with Jack Black, which was really funny. He did a song with Lemmy from Motorhead, with King Diamond, a couple of different people. And this is when I first was made aware of the guy Max Cavalera, and I was like, damn, this song. And he did a song called Red War with him. So like now I'm exposed to 2 different Max Cavalera songs. Let's just say him playing, whether it be their hit Territory done by Between the Buried and Me, or Red War with him and Dave Grohl. And I'm like, I think I like this, but I never actually pursue it enough to be like, well, I'll just listen to them on the radio, you know?
Yeah.
When they play Walk and whatever else. I like their hits. But the third song, their third single from it, Slave New World, I know. It's like a Gwar song where you're like, some of their things where like they do, because they still do have a lot of the thrash like feel in a lot of their songs. It's kind of like very tribal sounding drums, like really like I said, a lot of tom work, like like a lot of driving.
It's not like you're talented, but over the top, it's a little exhausting.
And they have that, so they really do have a lot of that energy. And like there's sometimes where they're like, there's another song on here that I can't wait to talk about, and it is
Do it right now.
Brother, we're almost there. But Slave New World didn't really scratch an itch. It was a good song.
Yeah.
But it's definitely a third single. It's kind of, let's just get this out there. But I did look it up just in case, because I had a feeling about every other song, a note necessarily. But this one I actually had to look up just to be like, because it was just like, it's a good song. But okay. Slave New World is the 6th official single and final of 3 to be taken from the album Chaos AD, released in 1994. Excuse me, not 93. It was recorded in 93. The lyrics were co-written by Evan Seinfeld from Sepultura's Roadrunner label mates Biohazard. This is why I'm so happy that I found this fact. Do you know who he is?
No.
Evan Seinfeld? No relation to Jerry, but was married.
You got to start with Evan Larry David?
Brother, he was married to one of the queens of adult cinema.
Ooh.
Tara Patrick.
Tara Patrick.
And
I know that name.
Have seen his penis multiple times enter that woman. And he eventually married a porn star and was like, I'm not even messed up that she's in porn. Yeah, because now you exclusively make her do pornos with you. And I got to say, don't think he's necessarily the greatest fucker of all time.
No.
But he did do a lot of videos with Tara Patrick, which I do enjoy. So
that's how
I enjoy his work.
So you like his penis?
Yeah, but he's about the third single version of a porn star. You know what I mean? Where you're like, yeah, I'm just happy you released it. It's good. But it was a really interesting fact. The 4th song, Amen, is I would say after the singles, like we're out of that kind of thing. This honestly could have been probably a 4th single or the 3rd. Like it's good.
Yeah,
they're like
good stuff.
They're keeping the pace.
Quality
like I
stuff.
thought for sure, because you remember my warning earlier. Slow down, buddies.
Should stop grabbing at my junk.
But guess what? They got this. They got the wheel, buddy.
They grabbed the
and until
reins.
we hit that fucking acoustic song, we're right on the road. We're keeping time. We're actually ahead of schedule.
Oh, dude, I was just listening to when I was listening to Drain. When I was driving down to do panties, that's when I was like, I should drink and drive. Because like I was just bumping. The weather was beautiful on a Monday in Texas.
Yeah.
I was bumping Drain.
I'm going to pull over and get a margarita.
Dude, and it's just like Drain's sick because they're kind of like a fast, hardcore punk band, but they have really like, because they're from California, they have like really metal thrash riffs.
Yeah.
And then like 5th, 6th song in, there's just a complete vibe shift of an acoustic song. Yeah. And you're like, you guys could have saved this to the end.
That's what we hit.
It's very weird to throw that in the middle of an album.
Track 5, you kind of throws the brakes on everything. It's I put down break it down with some acoustic parts. I don't hate it. It's not my favorite.
Well, that's the thing.
It's just not.
That's the thing too. Why like context with music is so important. It's like why I was being very critical of Pantera at the beginning of the episode. But if like I'd probably give way less of a shit if they weren't always brought up as like the top 4 and and all this other shit. And I'm just like, yeah, well, that's gonna make me judge them substantially more critically. And I got to be honest, they don't meet this heavy band standard that I think they should meet.
I appreciate the consideration of like building an album, like structuring it and trying to pace it right and stuff like that. But like, that's why you don't front load it with fucking 3 or 4 singles. Like that's why
flow is,
you know what I mean?
Important on an album.
Because this is like immediately it's just kind of like, blah, you know what I mean? Like it just kind of puts that, but then it kind of picks back up.
I think too, if you think in the context of, like if you think in the context of how are they selling these, like CDs and fucking cassettes and shit like that, I think there was like, especially too, actually this is the early 90s and it's metal. I bet you cassettes are way more popular at this time. So if you think about song placement, I could see a lot of bands front loading albums.
Yeah.
Because it's like now, if you're like, that song's not good, skip. You can't skip on the cassette. So that shit, I don't know if that's true, like why they did.
Good theory, yeah.
But I'm like, because I think, especially in the early 90s and especially with metal music, I think metal was much more popular on cassette.
And I think that's why. So I would say also, if you're putting it on a cassette, most likely you're going to have 2 sides.
They did.
Okay. So All right. Well,
I have deals with them, but we never talked about cassette.
Well, if we get a chance and get back in time,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? If we can go back there and consult them, I would say
When we start Baby Fart Records?
yes.
Yeah.
I would put down one single on side A, and then the start of side B is another single.
Mm-hmm.
You throw that other single wherever you want that Joker. Not
well,
at the
we
end.
already talked. They don't
Not
want
at the end.
They don't want to commit to that.
Max, look at me. Look,
Max.
Igor.
I'm Max.
I this.
Oh,
Igor.
I am Igor.
I this. Okay, eyes up here.
If you keep that up, I'm gonna say I go
I go to the.
I'm really sorry I said that.
Igor door.
I'm sorry. I'm always gonna try hard, and that was a failure.
I was on the boat with you when it went down.
Yeah, we had a Viking funeral for that joke.
The next song is Propaganda.
What?
Propaganda?
You like that band?
I like Propaganda.
Is this song just called Propaganda?
Yeah. And it's it has
Those are the songs where you're like, hey guys, try harder.
well it has another part like you know those classic
Because I bet the whole song is like, it's bad, it tricks you, propaganda's bad.
They're Brazilian.
El Bado.
That's
Sorry, I didn't mean to say that.
he
I'm
doesn't know how to
racist.
speak Portuguese.
In my defense, I'm racist.
Obrigado.
That's you did Italian voice.
No, obrigado.
Obrigado.
It means thank you in Brazilian. Stupid.
No, it doesn't.
Idiot bitch. Thank you for all the propaganda. But it has those the drum and bass. You know when it like just breaks down in like a breakdown where it's like that dum 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 like the really low tune of bass and like the just drums. It has a couple parts of that like are like it's again not reinventing the wheel kind of thing, but like it like hits you right. They do it perfectly.
Yeah.
Again, knowing them being a thrash band and kind of being able to implement a lot of like hardcore.
Yeah.
Like where again, it reminded me of like Sick of It All.
Side to fucking side.
Yeah, I was like, fuck yeah, dude. Like they are very. This is a very as far as like the influences, you can see a ton of influences in this album, as well as like a lot of growth in the band. This being their fifth album and shit like that.
Can I ask you a question?
What?
Where do babies come from? No. Do you know
Pussies.
That's so fucking sick. Did you do a lot of research into like their inspirations in general or like at the time? Because as a Brazilian band, I'd be very because this. I mean, I don't know what Brazilian hardcore sounds like, but this musically pairs up perfectly with any American like hardcore band.
Yeah.
So I was like curious. Like I remember I was listening to the audiobook for the guitarist of the Rolling Stones. I always forget his fucking name. Mick stupid fuck.
Kenneth Parsons.
What?
Kenneth Parsons?
Kenneth Parsons.
Yeah.
No.
Keith Wrigley.
Keith Richards?
Keith Wrigley.
Wrigley Field.
Wrigley's gum.
Boston's win the World Series. The Red Sox. So they were growing up in like the 50s or whatever, and they were in England, and there's no like good blues bands in England.
Yeah.
So they literally would buy records of black blues artists from America, listen to them a shitload, and then just try to play that shit. And I'm very curious what the guys in Sepultura were listening to.
Well, I didn't get back that far, but the next song on the album was the one I was talking about being very excited about because not only is the name interesting, but it really, like, you can listen to the song and go, like, this does not sound like anything else I would even imagine them doing. But just the fact that it doesn't sound like anything else on the album, and it's pretty crazy. So the next one's called Biotech is Godzilla.
The song title?
Yeah.
That rips so hard.
It has a sick chorus as well as a very sweet impression of Godzilla himself. Where somebody literally goes, "Rawr!"
That's awesome. That's so fucking sick.
So I had to look up this album, and this might speak to more of their influence. The band's usual lyricist and singer, guitarist Max Cavalera, did not have a hand in penning the lyrics and didn't come up with the title punk rock icon Jello Biafra did.
Ooh.
Cavalera recounted in the
Hey, Sepultura!
Godzilla.
I've got a song title
Biotech
for you.
is Godzilla, baby. And you're like, this doesn't really go with the rest of the album so much, but
Don't worry, Sepultura. I'll do the voice. Rawr!
So in the 2015
Any excuse to do Jello Biafra.
Survival of the Fittest, heavy metal in the 90s, we asked, quote, we asked our friend Jello Biafra, who was a big hardcore hero of mine from the Dead Kennedys, to write the lyrics to Biotech is Godzilla. We should have asked him to sing. That would have been even better.
Ha 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 ha! Just kidding.
Because that's the thing. But that's the funniest thing. It's like, yes, we should have had him sing because it honestly
that actually would rip.
When you're hearing him sing the song or you're hearing the song, it's not a bad song, but you can kind of feel.
No. I'm encouraging Stanley.
You can actually feel like his disconnection to the lyrics. Like you can feel like it's almost like he's going, Biotech is Godzilla. Does it say rar in parentheses?
Rips.
It's fucking crazy. So, but yeah, he definitely should have asked him to do it because it would have been crazy.
That'd be cool as hell.
But at the time, we just wanted his lyrics. For me, Jello is one of the best lyricists in the world. Stuff like Holiday in Cambodia, all the Dead Kennedy stuff was so amazing. I was like, if you can write the lyrics for us, that sounds a little sarcastic. Black humor like you did with the Dead Kennedys, that would be great.
Black humor, black slurs.
And he said, he came up with the title, Biotech is Godzilla, which is pretty genius. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's cool.
It's very cool that he did that.
Genius is a funny term.
It's subjective. Genius is also unfortunately subjective.
I don't know about, because it's like, it's
brother.
Genius would imply everyone else goes, oh yeah, that's the title. You're like, no, it's fun for you.
It's fun. Yeah.
I don't know if that's genius.
So he came up with the title, which is pure genius. The beginning of the album was full of cool stuff like that. End quote. The song draws a parallel between biotech firms that manipulate genes to create new foods and medicine. Excuse me.
Okay.
To Godzilla. A creature that was formed from the fallout of nuclear weapons. Jesus Christ. The promise of cures and prosperity espoused by biotech firms often overshadows the dangers which Sepultura points out in the song.
Okay.
So that's pretty cool. And then the next song, Nomad, which is another good one. Back to the Chucky Wuggies, which is, I'm sure they wouldn't like me saying either. But it definitely has a whole variety. Like,
yeah,
the Jello Biafra song definitely stands out. But I like the song, and I will say it was one of the. I'll tell you the final number at the end of the episode. This is a hint, but there's a number of songs that were added to multiple playlists of mine. Mm-hmm. And this was one of them. And then, not ironically, I actually really do like the song, but it is absolutely different from every other song on the album.
Yeah, it's like when you hear it's written by Jello Biafra, you're like, that's obvious.
Even the acoustic song that they did was like, it works like with the album. I just didn't love it. This one is like, the fuck is Godzilla? What?
Here, wait, let me say this with the Godzilla song and all the other stuff you were talking about. It kind of, because I thought Sepultura was also cool because, first off, you know, it's the first sign of being like a heavy prog band.
Yeah.
Are they calling yourself Sepultura? That's like a heavy prog band thing to do. You're calling yourself something that I guess it makes more sense because I'm assuming it's a Spanish word, but like in the context of Americans, like there's all these like prog rock, like heavy, like Between the Bear to Me type bands where they always name themselves a word you've never heard before.
Yeah.
So there's that, like the energy of the band is all this and that, and then finding out that they're like, oh yeah, we also write songs about Godzilla. Yeah. You're like, oh, I really like the unapologetic weirdness of your band. That's what I like, because sometimes I get self-conscious about things like that occasionally. Like, it took me till my 30s to truly admit I like playing like Magic the Gathering and shit like that. Like, I'm quick to get embarrassed of myself.
Yeah.
So like when I see bands be like unapologetic about that kind of shit, it's like endearing and it makes me want to like them more. So that general vibe of Sepultura was very fun and endearing to get into.
Yeah, I think there's this next song on the album is We who are not as others. Hardest. I don't know how you say that live. We who are not like as other. God damn it. Feels kind of like that. It feels like that same thing. It's very. I put here very quote questy. That's me quoting myself. Type of. It's a type of song. It has like a contemplative feeling at the beginning, but then it like they start to introduce a bit of the riffery near the end.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like it starts out very like it sounds like it could be out of a Lord of the Rings or something like that. Like when they're getting ready to like
honestly, which goes back to the prog rock shit.
Yeah.
It's like they're a band. They sound like a hardcore band with prog rock energy.
Sorry. I just wrote for the next song.
What?
I can't believe I write this stuff down and it's so stupid.
Oh, I was like, the fuck I'd say.
No. It was something, I was
You're laughing at something you wrote.
Oh, track 10. Sorry. It's called Manifest, and I put down more like, man, I like this song.
Pat, that's terrible.
Yeah,
that's awesome how bad that is.
But
dude, you're probably, oh my God, dude, you probably write notes to yourself being like, these are some great notes, Pat. You're doing a great job.
Don't say this out loud, Pat.
Man, it's not even enough to like connect the jokes.
Not even a little bit.
It
just starts with man.
Man, I like this song.
But I put,
dude, you could have even been like, manifest. Man, it's the best.
That's way better. See, that's why I say it out loud, though.
That's why we're a
workshop
team,
it, right?
That's why we're a team.
We got there.
We work together.
But it's back to the Thrashtastic.
I really want to get Pizza Hut. Sorry,
they're very thrashy.
This
is back. This is when you hear them go back into the thrash songs and shit like that. It's way more. It's like way more natural.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's also this song really helps you point out like the fact that what sets them apart ultimately why they aren't Pantera.
And then you realize
they're a completely different band.
And then you listen to it and you realize, man, I like this song. Man, I like this song.
Like you're reflecting, you're like, this is a good song.
Man, I like this song.
Man, it's the best.
It's the best.
But no, I literally did put that. The song really helps point out the fact that they're not Pantera.
I believe you. Believe that you put that.
The Hunt is track 11. It sounds like they are doing a cover, but it's not bad. It really does sound like a cover. I meant to do more research on that, but I did.
Yeah.
Then Clenched Fist. I put down. I always thought it was Clinched.
Wait, I got to ask you.
Sick ass Panic Chords. Great last song.
Did you? How much did you like this album? You've never done a track by track review.
That's what I'm saying. This made me go like, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna figure out like when it started, all that stuff. I'm gonna get my feelings on each song, and then I'm gonna investigate each song individually.
Don't do that. Don't do that, Stanley.
Just stomp on his throat. He likes it.
That might be a way to do it. I hear what you're saying. I was like,
no, that is how I'm going to do it. Don't even try me.
Yeah, no, you could do we can think about it.
I'm going to be doing it. Don't even do it.
But no, so you like the hell out of the album.
Yeah, and I also found out that clench and clinch are oftentimes confused, but have distinct meanings, particularly in sports in relation to context. Clench means to hold or close something tightly, like a fist or teeth. Whereas clinch, on the other hand, is more often used in sports to mean make something certain or final, like securing a victory or a deal. Elaboration, if I may. The word clench generally refers to the act of holding something tightly, squeezing a fist, or closing your teeth. It suggests a forceful grip or closure. Whereas clinch, again, in sports, clinch signifies securing a victory, winning a competition. I'm just letting you know the differences between, because I always thought it was, Why are
you reading it?
They're two different. I didn't know that there was two different words.
Okay, but why is that being brought up right now?
Because it's part of my research.
For what?
The album.
What?
The album it's called a Clenched Fist, but I always thought it was clinched.
Oh, okay.
But that's just for sports. So if the fist is in a sports environment, do you want to find out the songs that went on my playlist?
No.
There's 4 of them. It was reduce, reuse. It's refuse and resist. Biotech is Godzilla, obviously. Nomad and Man is the best.
Hell yeah, dude. All right, man. I think these were...
Man, that's the end.
I think this was some interesting... I definitely want to come back to like some 90s metal because I would like to get a broader context of...
Like women?
What?
Like having our wives talk about it?
No. Oh, God, no.
Okay.
No.
They'll be like,
I would be a fan of 90s ladies, just big boobs and no ass. God, that's some good stuff.
That's from sitting on all those hoods, flatten those asses out.
Yeah, but no, I would like to make a suggestion for next week.
Okay.
And because you bring in...
Lay it on me, Daddy-O.
All right, you're in a silly...
Give it to me.
You're in a silly space
that
is very erratic. And I like it.
I am very erratic.
I like...
I'm fully erratic right now.
Brought to you by Pat Spooner. But if I could make a suggestion, because you got me thinking about Jello Biafra.
Uh-oh.
And I think a good pair up. Now, it's not the most creative pair up, but it's still two really good albums. They came out around the same time. I think the bands are from the same area. I think. They're two legendary albums. That's why I was on my phone earlier. Also, I'm just texting people. But I'm not. I'm professional. But no, I think they were from the same time period, same area, yada, 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 two punk bands. I think it'd be cool to do Fresh Fruit for Rotten Vegetables.
Love it.
By Dead Kennedys with Damage by Black Flag.
Which one do you want to do?
I'm going to listen to the shit out of both.
Right.
I don't know. Which one do I want to do? Who's going to be more fun to make fun of? Henry Rollins or
That guy's a real stick in the mud.
or Joe.
I'd say it to his face, too.
Because we've seen plenty of video. If you do that, he just yells at you for a while.
Nah. I'd
Or if you're a
over.
child half his size.
He's old now. I could take him.
Yeah, probably.
But yeah, which one do you want to research more?
I want to listen to Dead Kennedys more, but I actually, now that I'm thinking it, I kind of want to research Black Flag more. What do you want?
So you'll listen to Damaged.
Yeah, I'll do the research for Damaged. You can do the research for Fresh Fruit for Rotting Vegetables.
All right. I will do that, and I have secured the album I wanted because I found out in my years, and it might change because I'll listen to it I'll do a little bit of research as well because I don't forget my notes. So I'll make sure that
pretty good fucking job.
I'll also listen to Damage and do all of the research so that way we know that we'll be thorough in our next venture.
I'm pretty good at researching.
You're all right.
I'm pretty fucking good.
Also, I like this album a lot more. Actually, this is the album I think that introduced me to them. So this is really
this
good.
is I would rather the Dead Kennedy album. Like if you had to pick one, I'd rather Dead Kennedys over the Bad Religion album. Mm-hmm. But I think research wise, I think I'd have more fun researching Black Flag.
Yeah.
And I think I'm gonna do a good job.
Well,
and I
see
think,
you next week.
I think I'm going to silence the haters.
Yeah, that's right. Everybody, put your hater blockers on, babies.
And then realize you wouldn't need them because I'm fantastic.
And also, we have to see all the haters. So,
all right. I love you.
Me?
No.
Okay.